This is the Bureau of Printing and Engraving in Washington, D.C., where the money is made. A printing press here can turn out a lot of money in just a minute, some $4,096 a minute. But this one press would have to operate non-stop every hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, from now until next February, just to come close to the amount of money the United States government has squandered on the man in this limousine. Sese Seko Mobutu, who as the president of the African country of Zaire and one of America's staunchest allies against communism, has become incredibly rich.
Clearly, he is one of the wealthiest, if not the most wealthy man in the world today.
Former Congressman Steve Solar spent 20 years in Washington trying to stop American money from going to Mobutu's pockets.
I think we gave him, over the years in which we supported Zaire, around $1.6 billion. That ain't peanuts. That is a lot of money. And you can be sure a significant amount of it ended up in his pockets or his bank accounts in the kleptocracy.
Kleptocracy, a government run by thieves, or a thief. And that, based on a 4-month investigation by Dateline, fairly well describes what we heard about a man who became one of the world's great billionaire tyrants, all with the help of American taxpayers and a blind eye from Washington.
Zaire is among America's oldest friends, and its president, President Mobutu, one of our most valued friends.
That's what Indiana Republican Congressman Dan Burton used to say, that Mobutu was important to help fight Soviet aggression in Africa.
I can't believe it.
That is, until Burton saw for himself the Mobutu lifestyle on a trip to Zaire, where a member of the American embassy staff took these pictures.
Here we are, the President's Palace.
When you're talking about the kind of opulence that I saw, I don't think you can express it in words. I mean, it was really extraordinary. They had a fleet of Mercedes there to pick us up. Then we drove on a paved road past people who live in mud huts with thatched roofs with no clothes on except maybe a loincloth of some type.
Here we are in the President's private residence. This is where the money goes.
I have never seen a home 5 stories high with cut glass chandeliers with Rothschild urns in the living room that cost over $50 million in the middle of a jungle. I've never seen anything like that in my life. And I kept thinking, where in the world is all the money coming from for this?
For almost 30 years, much of it came from Washington and other Western capitals. And as fast as it came in, American and European investigators say Mobutu found new and extravagant ways to spend it. $250,000 to charter the Concorde for quick trips to Europe. Millions more for this villa on the French Riviera. And then there was this gold-plated 2-foot-high bust of himself. And of course, for dinner, only the finest French wines and champagnes would do, still leaving billions for Mobutu's secret European bank accounts.
This makes grand larceny in our country look like a petty crime. I mean, this man was stealing literally hundreds of millions of dollars over the course of his tenure as the leader of the country.
And investigators say Mobutu stole not only the foreign aid coming into Zaire, but much of the proceeds of his country's vast diamond and mineral mines, further fueling Mobutu's worldwide spending spree, like this elaborate party for his wife's 40th birthday, with violins, gold-rimmed wine goblets, and a display of Mobutu's gold bullion collection, all held on the French Riviera. No one but perhaps Mobutu himself knows just how much money he has, but a wide range of diplomats and investigators told Dateline the figure is anywhere between $2 and $8 billion. However many billions it is, the fact is Mobutu lives like a king while his people suffer. After 3 decades of American support and $1.6 billion in American taxpayer dollars, Zaire is in collapse. Almost nothing works. Not a single new hospital has been built since Mobutu took power. The government hasn't paid teachers in years. A country that could be rich appears to have been bankrupted by the unchecked greed of its own president. Monsieur le President, Brian Ross, Dateline NBC. But that's not how President Mobutu sees it. In a rare interview conducted in Cairo last year, Mobutu told Dateline it's all propaganda.
I believe that I have done a lot for my country, and this contrary to the campaign of denigration, intoxication, misinformation.
The United States sent more than $1 billion in aid to your country. Where did that money go?
Vous voulez la réponse?
Do you want the answer? If this has been written for 15, 20 years, and it's been 15 or 20 years that I'm still waiting for proofs. You are a good journalist. Please make your inquiries in Belgium, in France, anywhere you want.
And that's exactly what we did. Tracking a trail of money Mobutu left across Europe, a long way from the poverty of Zaire. When you were with Mobutu, you would come here often?
Yes.
In our investigation, we found Emmanuel Dunga, one of Mobutu's former intelligence officers, who told us that before he quit in disgust, he was a kind of European fixer for Mobutu, helping to keep the champagne and the smuggled diamonds flowing.
There are many rooms, very beautiful.
Dunga took us to what he said was perhaps the most extravagant of Mobutu's holdings, a 19th century chateau on the outskirts of Brussels in Belgium. Very expensive?
Yes, very expensive.
It's called the Chateau Fondroy, according to Dunga, expensively furnished and the scene of many a lavish party. To pay for it all, Dunga says